It was Halloween weekend, and it was falling on a Saturday this year. My sister Emma and I always loved this time of year. Our mom usually went all out with the decorations, but this year she was out of town on a business trip. So it was up to us to keep the Halloween spirit alive. We live in a quiet suburban neighborhood, where everyone knows each other, so we figured we'd still get a good number of trick-or-treaters. Since Halloween was on a Saturday, kids started trick-or-treating earlier in the day. It was a chilly, overcast day, and the weather forecast mentioned a chance of rain. I thought this might keep some kids indoors, but Emma was optimistic. She insisted we add more decorations to make our house more inviting. "Let's check the garage for any leftover decorations," she said. I wasn't too thrilled about digging through the cluttered garage, but I eventually agreed. We rummaged through boxes and found some old jack-o'-lanterns and string lights. As we were about to head back inside, Emma spotted a box tucked away in the corner. "What's that one?" she asked. "I don't know. I haven't seen it before," I replied. We pulled it out and opened it. Inside was an old, worn-out scarecrow decoration. It was life-sized, with a faded dark purple shirt and an old hat on his head. It had a face expression made out of different materials and had old, worn-out glasses. "Perfect. This will definitely draw some attention," Emma exclaimed. "I don't know, it looks kind of creepy." "That's the point, Alex, it's Halloween," she laughed. We set up the scarecrow on the front lawn, propping it up with a wooden stake. It leaned slightly to one side, giving it an even eerier appearance. Satisfied with our work, we went back inside to warm up. As the afternoon went on, a few trick-or-treaters came by, but not as many as we'd hoped. Emma was a bit disappointed. "Maybe we should have put out more decorations," she sighed. "Or maybe kids just aren't into trick-or-treating as much anymore." We spent the rest of the evening watching horror movies in the living room. Around 8 p.m., the doorbell rang. Emma jumped up, excited to hand out more candy. I followed her to the door, but when we opened it, no one was there. "That's weird," Emma said, looking around. "Probably just some kids playing ding-dong ditch." We closed the door and went back to our movie. Not even 5 minutes passed when we heard another doorbell ring. This time I got up to check. Again, no one was there. "All right, this is getting annoying," I muttered. As I was about to close the door, I glanced toward the street. Under the dim glow of the street lamp, I thought I saw someone standing there, but it was hard to make out. "Do you see anyone?" "I thought I did, but maybe not," I replied. We decided to ignore it and went back inside. This time it was quiet for a while. About half an hour passed before Emma heard something outside. "It sounded like footsteps on the porch," she said. "What? That's probably just a wind," I reassured her. But then we both heard a soft scraping sound against the front door. Emma looked at me, her eyes wide. "Okay, that's definitely something," I admitted. I went to the door and looked through the peephole. At first I didn't see anything. Then, suddenly the peephole went dark, as if someone was covering it from the outside. I jumped back. "Someone's out there." Nervously I peeked outside through the side window. To my horror, the scarecrow we had set up in the yard was now standing upright on our porch, completely unsupported. It didn't make sense. My heart raced as I tried to make sense of how it had moved. Emma had been inside with me the whole time, so there was no way she could have moved it. The eerie sight filled me with dread. The logical part of me wanted to believe it was just a prank, maybe some kids messing with us. But the growing unease told me otherwise. Something felt terribly wrong. Then we heard a thud from the back door, followed by the unmistakable sound of the doorknob rattling. Someone was trying to break in. Fear gripped me, so I forced myself to dial 911. The operator assured me that officers were on their way and advised us to find somewhere safe to wait. We hurried up the stairs and went into our mom's bedroom, locking the door behind us. We stayed close together, listening to every creak and sound, hoping the police would arrive before whoever or whatever was outside got in. We could hear footsteps moving around downstairs, the floorboards creaking under the weight. "How did they get in?" Emma whispered. "I don't know," I replied, my mind racing. I remembered that one of the windows in the living room didn't latch properly. Maybe they forced it open. We tried to make as little noise as possible. I held my breath, listening intently. The footsteps grew closer, stopping right outside the door. But just then, we heard sirens blaring outside, and the running footsteps in the house. We looked through the window and saw a scarecrow running, the same scarecrow we set up on the yard. We met 2 officers downstairs. We told everything to them, and they searched the house. The back door was wide open, and the lock had been broken. They took our statements and suggested we stay somewhere else for the night. That night, we stayed at a friend's house, but sleep didn't come easily. So many questions.